Welcome to No Fabs. Sorry for the wait, guys. I'm finally back with some more content on the Escort.
This is my 1990 Ford Escort Estate, or a wagon model, originally a 1.4 CVH engine, and I wanted to swap this engine out for something a little bit different, so I decided we're going to use a Volkswagen engine. I opted to use the 2-litre TFSI petrol turbo engine from a Leon FR, produces 200 horsepower standard, and I thought this will go pretty well in the Escort. Now, in the previous episodes, we got the engine mounted, we did the cooling system, we did the charge system, we did the exhaust system, we did the fuel system, we built custom drive shafts. Everything was going so well until I hit a brick wall. And that is the wiring. Originally, I was going to use a company who I was going to drop the car off to. They was going to do all the wiring for me and return the car as a running vehicle. Sadly, they are too busy to take the job on now, and that all fell through. But that wasn't the end of the world. I did find another company who was far from local to me, 4 hours away actually. Off the back of recommendation, I decided to use these guys. I contacted them, had a chat with them. They was confident they could make me a wiring loom for this vehicle without any trouble. Everything was going so well. But little did I know, my whole world was about to come crashing down and I was about to get scammed. Before we get to that, let's rewind 3 months earlier when everything was going well.
Right, so in the last episode, obviously Andy came to see me and we had a little look around this Escort and we had a little look at everything and made sure everything was going to be in place. And he gave me a little list of things to do. And on that little list of things to do was that I need to put an Escort coolant temperature sensor in the 2-litre TFSI coolant system, because we were using the Escort clocks. Now the Escort clocks won't be able to work the coolant temperature sensor off the sensor what's fitted in the Leon, if that makes sense to you. So let me show you what I need to do. So here is the original coolant pipe off the Leon. Now it connects these two little plastic connectors together with this piece, blah, blah, blah. You can probably guess what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make an aluminium one because it's gonna be easier for me to weld in the coolant boss what I need to. So I'm gonna get rid of all this mumbo jumbo and I'm gonna make this piece from that joint to here in one piece. You see, I've already faced this little part off, so I've made that to correct angle. Now I just need to weld that on there. It's hard to hold it with one hand and hold camera for you guys, but yeah, trust me, it's right. So that's going to be that onto there like that. Now, one issue I have got is I've got a piece of pipe here, what's the exact same size as that, but I cannot bead roll that size, and I do want a bead roll on it. So next thing is going to be, I've got some aluminium stock here. I'm just going to cut a big piece of that off, and I'll run that in lathe, and I'll make one of these that's essentially got a bead rolled lip on it like that. And I'll also make the boss fatter at the bottom. Makes it easier to weld on for me, because trying to weld that on, it'll just blow it away straight away. It's difficult. Also, this one is a slightly different size, and I haven't got this. Was just a piece of tube I'd got laying around, bead roll the end of it, and it just so happens to be perfect size, which that was just pure luck. Now this one, I haven't got that size, so unfortunately I am going to have to use a piece of aluminium stock like this, and I'll machine it in the lathe, again putting a bead roll on the end of it like that, and we're going to make that size. So let's get up to the lathe. Well, we'll cut 2 pieces off because we don't want that whole lot, so I'll just chop a bit off in bandsaw, take it upstairs. Yeah, let's get going. Here's just a little bit I've just found in my scrap box, which is obviously a failed attempt at something else I've made before in the past. Pretty sure we can work that into the smaller one, so that's what I'll do. I'll probably trim this bottom bit down, get rid of them ridges, put a bit of a lip on this, and I think that'll do us for that little one. So it's from trash to treasure. So with a bit of luck, we've just turned that from scrap to treasure. We're going to give that a try now. If that fits on, happy days. Sweet, so Connor informs me that that one's perfect. Last one for us to do now is this one. Just make that one. We've got to take this out of a bit of stock, so will take us a while. Well, it won't take a while, it's aluminium, it'll be fairly quick. Be quick for you guys because we're going to be on a quick time lapse. So in blinker and eye, it'll be boosh and it'll be done. There's that one that we were missing. Just need to trim this back bit down a little bit. It's mega hot, as you can probably tell why I'm not holding it, but that'll do the job. Right, there's been a slight change of plan. There's been a up, not gonna lie. So, I said originally that I was going to make the entire thing, then I said I was going to make it from there to there, I'm going to make that entire thing in aluminium. Well, there's been a cock up. Can anyone spot the problem? It's been welded on the wrong way, you absolute numpty. So, change of plan is now, we're still gonna have to have this in middle because I can't be bothered to make another one. I haven't even got enough material of this to make another one, so I can't. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna make this portion separate. So I'm gonna make an aluminium version. I can still weld the boss side of it, I can still put the sensor in it, still does the job I wanted it to do. I just wanted everything to be all one piece, but I've cocked it up. Blame it on Carl, it's Carl's fault. So yeah, I'll make that, and then I've also made up parts for this one anyway, so rather than have the plastic one, I'll just make an aluminium one. So it's going to look exactly as it did now. It's going to be aluminium piece, bit of silicone, aluminium piece. I wanted it all nice in one, but I've cocked it up. So that's that. Idiot. Right, suppose it's time just to make, I'll just make them individual pieces. No what else can do. I ain't got any more material. I'll never be able to cut it off, make it nice. It just won't happen. It's a mess up. It's the best of a bad situation. It's not what I wanted, but they're replicas of the original one, so they will fit back on. And there you can see we have got the sensor boss for the Escort coolant temp sensor. So if I didn't explain it good enough earlier on, what I meant was the reason we've done this is because I want to use the original Ford instrument cluster and I want the temp gauge to work. Now the instrument cluster is not going to talk to the temp sensors on the engine, but it will talk to this one. So we'll plumb that one in there, plug it in, that will give us an active working temp gauge for the instrument cluster, and all the other temp sensors for the 2-litre TFSI will work with the ECU. They'll talk to the ECU, that'll keep the ECU happy. Kind of like trying to make two things happy, but I want the original Ford dashboard to work, and that will now make it work. Right. That job done, on to the next. A little bit of a 5-minute setback on this. Gonna need an earth point on that, so I was like, yeah, actually does make sense, because originally that would have been bolted to the block on the Ford, so it would have earthed through the block type thing. So I did shoot Andy a message, just said, is that right? Do I need to put an earth on it? He says, yes, so just put a little earth on it, put it underneath out of sight. So I've just spun this little boss up, look. I'm gonna weld that on the underside of this coolant housing, so it's out of sight, you'll not really see it. That will then give us a point to earth to. That will make sure that works. Plan of action is then we're just going to work down this list. This is the little list of things that Andy gave me to sort before we take it to him for wiring. As soon as these are done, we're going to get it on a trailer, we're going to run it up to Andy for wiring, and then next time we see it, she'll be a goer, hopefully. So we need to make an ECU bracket, we need to mount ECU. That shouldn't take us long. Mark IV Golf brake pedal. I'm not too sure why we need a Mark IV Golf brake pedal, but Andy knows what he's talking about, so we'll get it in there. We need to put a clutch switch on there. He's told me what type I need. I need an NC or a normally closed clutch switch. Haven't got one at the moment, but I'm going to get one very shortly. Escort coolant temp sensor, which is obviously what we've done in that part. We've made that the coolant flange housing. That's put the Escort coolant temp sensor in there. Like I said, that will then control the dash. We need to notch the slam panel out a little bit, because Andy seems to think it's a little bit close at front and it'll touch. I think it would have been all right, but to keep Andy happy, we'll just notch it out a little bit more. It's not an issue. We need to put a Golf DSG earth strap on there now. I have looked into the DSG earth strap, and for what they are, they're so bloody expensive, so I'm not going to put a factory Golf one on there. I am going to just literally cut a jump lead up, put some eyelets on either end, and I've already modified a bolt. I'll show you the bolt I've modified in a second. Again, they're wanting like 15 quid for a singular bolt. I'm not paying that when I can literally just take that one upstairs, spin it on lathe, drill an hole in it, TIG weld a bit of thread in it. It's the same thing. So that's what we've done with that. And then I just need to make sure all my lights work. So we'll chuck a battery on it once we've got it all working. We've got a repair to do on one of the wires for lights. We'll sort that. We'll make sure all the lights work, and then literally get it on a trailer, run it up to Andy. Next time we see it, she'll be a goer. Hopefully. That's the plan. Yeah. There we go. Another thing off the list. Notch slam panel. Done.
Well, I can't even get mask on my head. Honestly, I can't explain to you how much I hate working in the footwell of this thing. I've had so many nightmares in here with this, and it's just not made for big people to be in here. Can't lie. Oh my life. Yeah, it's definitely not made for big people under here. I'll have to try and hold it with one hand and maybe get a bit of a blind tack on with no mask on. Honestly, I can't even move, folks. I can't even get in. I can't get both hands in. This were all nightmare I had when I was converting it to a hydraulic clutch. Can't remember what episode it were in. Maybe episode 8. Have a watch if you want to watch a fat kid struggle trying to get under here. Oh, right. Oh, what we're going to earth to? I'm hoping it'll earth to that. I don't know if this is going to work or not. Right. Oh, that might have got it enough just to make sure it right spot. Oh. Looks like it. It definitely looks like it. Could do it switch. Oh. Just quickly try it switching. Short switch looks like it's in right spot. Before we go full send. Right, press pedal, put it in, twist it. Yeah, that looks in right spot to me. Oh, that'll do us, folks. Try to break tack or I'll be a sour man. There we go. Right, we're in right spot. All I've got to do is get a couple of good tacks on there. Get some gloves and see if we can get it. Oh, I hate under this car. Ah. Oh, hi. I can smell burning. Am I on fire? Oh, I think we're good. I think we're good. Maybe we are on fire, actually. Yeah, we were on fire, but we're not anymore. That'll do me. Oh. Come with me. Let's take you for a little look under here, what we've just done. Ah. Try and get in a comfortable position. Alright, hang on, let me try and move you in the right spot. Can you see, look? So what that is a bracket for a Mark IV Golf pedal switch. Tacked in place, should never come off. Let's get switching. Happy days, that's the Mark IV Golf brake pedal switch. Ticked off my list. Now I have just added a couple of other things onto my list as well. In fact, there's one more thing I need to add on. I need to bleep brakes. Don't forget to do that. Oh, and clutch. Bleed brakes. Bleed clutch, right. List getting bigger as we're getting down it. So Mark IV Golf brake pedal switch done. I have heard back from Andy. He's told me the clutch switch, the original Ford brake pedal switch will work as my clutch switch. Absolutely buzzing about that. That'll just make my life so much easier because it's threaded. Oh. So all I've got to do is make a plate with an hole in it. The threads will take up the adjustment. 2-pin wires. Absolutely happy days. That will make that so much easier. Sweet. So that's going to be my next job, I think. I think we're going to get that clutch switch sorted. Yeah, right. My list is getting shorter, but also getting longer at the same time. Let's keep going. I'm already on with this then. First thing, I don't know if you can see it there, I've just welded a little tab to one side of this. That's going to be the part what the clutch pressure switch presses against. Now I'm going to make this part, which is going to use the top bolt of the master cylinder,
going to put a fold there, bend that across, fold back, see how strong it is. Hopefully it'll be enough, because it's only holding sensor. It's not doing any weight, load bearing, it's only holding sensor. Should be all right. We'll see, won't we? We'll see. Right, we're going to put a fold in that there. Probably 90-degree fold. Right. Oh, look at that. Lovely that. Bit too much of a bend, but I can take a little bit out by hand. Should do us. Absolutely lovely jubbly, that is, tell you. Lovely jubbly. Right, we're gonna mark where we want the sensor to go. We want sensor to go there. Look at that, look. Almost looks like it's meant for a job. So that's tightened in there now. Nice easy 2 wires. That will bolt to the top bolt of the master cylinder. That's the plan. Let's see if it works. Nah, it's not that. Look at that. Absolutely perfect. I don't know how well you guys can see that operation, so I'm going to bring you a little bit closer. Pan you up a little bit as the clutch pedal is pushed. Absolutely lovely jubbly, that is. It doesn't even look that much of a bodge. It looks a bit of a bodge, but you know what? I had that much trouble with clutch on this. I just want it to work at this point. Now, I'm not going to leave that big bit sticking up there. I'm going to unbolt it again, and I'm going to retrim that little bit off. And yeah, sweet, tidy that up. And that's another one ticked off as a list. There we are then, look, done a little bit of fettling on that. Even put a dimple die in the middle of it. For those of you who are not familiar with dimple die, what does it do? Well, a piece like that, without the dimple die, would be really bendy and flexible. With a dimple die, it's actually really solid. That's what a dimple die does. That's why we've done what we've done there. I'm gonna get that bolted on. Another one off my list. So, 2-pin clutch switch is done. Next up, ECU bracket. Just before I've come to see you guys, this ECU here, I'd got some threaded holes here, but they're M5. Now, because I'm lazy and I haven't got any M5s, what I've done is I've just drilled the ECU to an M6, which is a 5mm drill bit, and then I've just tapped it down with an M6, and I've got these lovely little button-head Allen keys, what are going to hold the ECU. So, in a second I'm going to bring you in there, I'm going to try and explain to you what I'm going to do and how I'm going to mount it. But yeah, that's how we're going to mount it. We're going to mount it on these 2 end ones here. We're not going to use all 4 of them, it's not going to be needed. We're just going to use these 2 mounting bolts. That's going to hold the ECU securely in place, stop it vibrating about and banging around, because that's one thing you don't want vibrating around. They're not exactly indestructible, they are pretty fragile things. Right, let's bring you in here, try and explain to you what I'm going to do. So I'm going to make like a square thing that it's going to riv nuts at the back panel here like this. So it's going to come, there's going to be a piece that comes down here, 2 riv nuts in it. It's going to come across here 3 inch, then it's going to go back up 8 inch, and then across 3 inch on the top. So what we're going to create is like an empty sort of rectangle, if that makes sense, which is going to be screwed to the body, and then the ECU will sort of slide into it, and there's going to be 2 holes in the front, which is going to bolt to it with them 2 button-head Allen keys. Then it's just going to sit there. It's sort of under the slam panel, out of the rain, out of the weather, and hopefully it'll be all right there. So that's the thing I'm going to do now. Yeah, let's do it. Now, the piece of metal what I've got, it needs to be 22 inch long by my calculations, but I haven't got a piece of metal that's 22 inch long, so I am going to have to make it in 2 parts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a strip across here. I'm going to half the size what I need to do, and then it'll be like 2 L shapes, and they'll just need welding together down the edges. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to make 2 of them, and yeah, hopefully this works, because I can't really see any other way nicely. I really wish I'd kept the original mounting bracket off the Leon. Fortunately I didn't. I must have scrapped it with the car, which is unfortunate, because it probably would have fit in there with very little modification, but you live and learn. We'll have to make one, won't we? Width-wise, it doesn't need to be very wide. We'll go with 2-inch width. So we'll get a piece of verniers. Put myself a scribe line on there that I can cut to. I'll just make that a little bit more clear where it starts and finishes. And I'll grab a straight edge and... Remember, safety first. Right, I've tacked it together then. I haven't fully welded it at the minute. I'm just going to make sure it actually works, which I've just had a quick offer up off camera and it looks like it might. So plan. Try and get you in so you can see what I'm looking at. Right, you see them 2 black holes what I've put on there? Look, I'm going to drill them through, and I'm also then going to drill the bulkhead, and I'm going to put 2 riv nuts in there, which is then going to hold that bracket. Balance. Come on, balance there. Right. It's not perfect, but that's going to hold that bracket there. Then ECU is going to slip in front back side of it like that, and it's going to bolt to that bracket, and that's going to hold it there. Then battery's going to go in front of it, and that should work if you ask me. One way to find out, isn't there? Let's get that welded. Let's get them holes drilled. And I'll drill the front holes as well for the ECU bit to bolt to. See if it fits, shall we? Right boys, here we go. All welded down these edges. There's my mounting holes. There's my ECU holes. I've already drilled and riv nutted this portion at bulkhead. Let's see if it works, shall we? I can't see why it won't. I've got high hopes. What do you guys think? Is it going to fit or is it not? Well, that's a good start. That one goes in. That hole might be slightly off, you know. Oh, hang on. No, it's not. Oh, my. Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful. Screws in like a dream. I thought we all were slightly off then, but it's not. I am hoping battery still fits in. Should do, because I was planning on using Escort battery, because they don't take that much turning over these. Oh, bugger. Should have run that pipe underneath bracket. Can I get it under? Oh. Crikey. Oh. That was lazy, weren't it? That is for screen wash, I believe. Oh, that tightens up a dream. Lovely jubbly. Probably wind it with my fingers. Right, happy days. There's my bracket. Pretty sturdy. So I've already tried the ECU on the bracket and it fits. Does it fit in the hole? That's the question, isn't it? So we'll clip his wire on. Oh, just dropped a bolt. I don't know where that went. It's alright, it's there. Clippers plug on. Right, it's a lot more difficult with in car because the holes don't actually sit up flush to the hole, to the bracket. Right, that's really difficult to get in there because you can't really see where holes are. There we go.
I mean, if I was to make another one, I'd make some changes. I'd make it so it actually fits in here. I'd put bends here so it actually fits ECU a bit better. It doesn't tighten up all that great. It could do with some spacers in there and back of them. Problem is, if you put space on back of them, it will make it an absolute nightmare to get them bolts in, because you'd have to line spacer up and get bolt in. That'd be a disaster. So I think we're just going to leave it. It ain't going to come out of there. We're good at that. We are good at that. That bracket's not going anywhere. Happy days. Right, ECU bracket. Boosh. Done. Right, so I went for my dinner and I decided that I weren't happy with that ECU bracket. I decided that I was kidding myself. I weren't happy with how difficult it were to get them bolts in. So we've had a change of plan. It's well over engineered. I'm just going to be honest with you. It's well over engineered. So I've gone to threads, what stick out now. Got these little brass spacers with a little grub screw on them, look, all threaded and everything, so they don't fall off. So next time, next person, probably Andy pulls it out, these brass things don't fall off and go down back at engine somewhere, so they'll stay on there now. And look how much easier this is. So just imagine that this is bolted back at bulkhead. Rather than fiddling with them bolts now, you literally just slide it in, pop it through there, pop your nuts on. How much better is that? Just in case you're not sure what the brass spacers are for, you can see there, look, because this portion of the ECU sort of hits the plate, there was a gap there. So when you were tightening the bolts before, it was sort of bending this in, whereas those little brass spacers now, look, flush up to the edge of that. It keeps the plate straight, and these actually tighten up so much better. I was kidding myself when I said I was happy with it before. I am a perfectionist. I was never happy with the first version. There's the second version, much better. Right, we're back to the old list then, the old Escort list. So, what have we got on here? Mark IV Golf brake pedal switch is done. 2-pedal clutch switch is also done. Escort coolant temp sensor, done. Notch slam panel, done. Golf earth strap, DSG earth strap. Now, I'll be honest, I'm tight. I didn't want to spend on a DSG one from TPS, so I've just made one. Basically cut an old jump lead up, put ends on it, she's golden. So that's that. I'm not ticked it off yet because I haven't put the actual stud on chassis, so I'm going to leave that off at the moment. Make sure all lights work. I have still got to do that. I've got to put engine oil in it, I've got to put gearbox oil in it, I've got to bleed brakes, got to bleed clutch, and I've also got bonnet pins to do. Now, bonnet pins have just arrived. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to get these bonnet pins in, and then that's just one other thing off my list. And yeah, I'm just going to keep chipping away at this. Every time I get a second, I'm going to keep chipping away at it. And yeah, because I've got a bit of weight anyway. Andy's got a bit of a wait list on, so we're in no massive rush. We've got to wait for him either way, so there's no point me booking loads of days, loads of time off and smashing this, because it'll just be sat here waiting anyway. So I'm just doing it every time I get a second, pretty much. So here's the bonnet pins that I opted for. I didn't want the ones that I've got on the Volvo. No, they're like the big ovally shaped ones where they've got like a push down clip. The reason I didn't want them is because they're black. I couldn't find silver ones, and I don't want to absolutely max power this to death. So I thought these ones are sort of like rally ones, silver. They won't look as much of an eyesore, if that makes sense, rather than the big horrible black things on your bonnet. I just thought they'll kind of blend in. I mean, they're not going to blend in, the bonnet pins, they stick up and they look horrific, but why am I putting bonnet pins on there, you might be wondering? Well, quite simply because I don't trust the Escort bonnet catch. I do not trust the original one. It weren't great anyway, so I've just cut it out there now. I've took it out altogether, and I'm just going to run bonnet pins. I much prefer running on them. Let's say this car does 130 mile an hour and bonnet comes up, you're going to be in for a bad day. I'll feel much safer with these on. So, without any further chatting, let's get going. I'm not a bonnet pin expert. I am going to completely wing this. Hopefully we get it right. Let's see. Let's unbox them then, see what we get. They feel good quality anyway. They feel like they mean business, which is good. I don't feel like that would come flying out. And it has got some securing wire or something in here. Don't exactly know what securing wire's for, to be honest. And I don't even know what they're for. I'm guessing, do they screw to the bonnet?
Yeah, I thought so.
I don't really want them on bonnet though. Look at them, the big silver things. I don't want them. I just want it to poke through. I don't want them on. Yeah, I don't want them poking through bonnet, do I? I mean, I'm guessing they go on bonnet. They must do it. They've got to go on bonnet, haven't they? Don't really. I'm not bothered about scratching paint. We'll just send them over the edge. Unless they needed, that is.
which I don't think they are, but I really don't want to screw them to the bonnet if I can help it. I think the only time you use them is, you know, if you get the hole in the wrong place. That's the only way we're going to be using them, if we drill hole in the wrong place. They come with like these little screws and like some securing wire. Is it necessary?
Probably not.
Maybe on a rally car, what's going over humps, bumps and all sorts of terrain. Package well, I'll tell you that. Right. Yeah, I can't put them through there. I can't. Yeah, I know. They might. Yeah, but they can't because screws are go. So do they go on that bit? Do they go on base? Act like a washer? Connor says it looks like a shower plug.
It looks like Barnett bath.
Like a Barnett bath. They're supposed to go there like that, aren't they? I believe. I'm gonna. I tell you what, let's see how good we do with hole drilling. If we get holes absolutely perfect at a point where we don't need them, then maybe we won't use them. But if I get hole off and I have to start making hole massive, and then it might look a chuff. That's when we might need them. We'll see. We'll see. Firstly, we need to decide where they're going to go, don't we? We need to find a nice bit on this panel where they're going to go. Nice, strong bit. Now these go on here. Then you have one nut. So we need to find a nice, easy bit to get to. What's going to come through on a nice spot. So straight in there, and would come through on that like that. If we put it there.
Did you not use one of them slits already?
I was just thinking, for putting drill bit through, I've got some material to actually go through then, haven't I, if I go there? Yeah. I think we'll be alright at that. I think we'll be absolutely sound at that there. Right, give me a pen, quick, let me mark it. Oh, right. Dropped a little mark on it there. I'm thinking that'll be solid because it's right near that fold. There's like a little lip underneath, shouldn't affect that. Let's just double make sure it's not going to affect light. Lights have been out that long, I can't remember if they'll cover at top or out. I don't think they do. I don't know where they're here, look, they're here, look. Nah, they don't, do they? They don't, they'll cover out them. They don't do out like that. You've just got your screws, your two screws.
Where the light sits though, is it?
I don't think it will. You sort of sit on them things, look. Nah, it's nowhere near. That goes. I shoved it back on there. That goes that way round. Does it? No, it doesn't. Does it? Wait, where to start with? Like that on them ball joints. We'll be absolutely golden at that, I believe. Can't get it on until it's on them ball joints, but that'll be nowhere near them. Right, that's it then. Time for a drilly drill, innit? Oh, grab drill. No mercy. She'll do.
Right, time to check if light.
What?
How will it sit about that?
We don't know, do we? We don't know height at the minute. So, you have to put one nut on top, because that's your adjustment. So what we're going to do is we're going to wind it right down for a minute, because we're only going to get one go at drilling it through bonnet. If I wind it right down and then shut bonnet down, I should see where it's going to go hit it, shouldn't I? Right, take pin out for a second so we don't lose him, grenade pin. Right, lower him down and see if we can see exactly where it's touching on bonnet so we know where to drill. Oh wow, Hello. So we're gonna have to go through from this side, aren't we? Because it's double skinned. There's my black circle where it touches. Plan is now we're gonna drill through this way and hopefully it'll line up. That's commitment, isn't it?
Yeah, that's gone through.
That looks like we're committed to me. Yeah, but now I know where holes come through, I can swap and go through from this side, can't I? But yeah, that looks like commitment to me. Does it look like we line up? In a fashion.
Will we be using the Wren's kitchen?
Looks like it lines up. If it were longer, I reckon it'll go. It's adjusted right down now, isn't it? I reckon if that were, let me lengthen it. Sure, it's not going to go that easy. That seemed to go too easy, that, didn't it? That seemed to go way too easy. She's in. She's bonnet pinned. I mean, it ain't perfect, is it? It could have done with being a little bit further that way. Do I care? Not really. Don't care. Bofta. Secure. Wants to go sideways, I think, doesn't it?
I'll tell you what them plates are for. They are for the top bit. To stop that from scratching on money, isn't it?
Yeah.
So for that, it's going to flap about in it, isn't it?
Well, it's not, is it? You adjust it. You adjust it to the point where it doesn't do that, doesn't it? It ain't perfect. I'll tell you now, it ain't. It's not perfect, but it's close.
I reckon it's a little tickle.
Shall I look at? Feeling it. Kit comes with them, doesn't it?
Yeah, the only fish you have to make all a bit bigger than what you need.
It doesn't actually look bad.
It doesn't look that bad.
It actually kind of looks it like a little bit.
Ah,
Painted silver.
it is silver already, but there's just a plastic pape on it. Flip it other way around, she's silver.
You know what?
They want to be on.
They want to be on.
Think put them on.
They want to be on.
That's that. We'll put them on. We'll put them on. Right. That seemed to go too easy. Let's see if the other side goes just as easy as that.
What did you do? Shoot bonnet on it so you know it?
No. No. I can see, can't I? Because headlights aren't in.
That whole one's a bit bigger anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jag.
Oof.
Oh, God.
It's the bottom one. It's the bottom one what wants making bigger.
Better get hammered and knock that forward a bit.
It's the bottom one because threads are stuck on lip.
Let loose some threads on. Better get hammered.
Yeah, we'll just look at threads.
You can't loosen threads on it, that's the problem. We need to knock the pin down. Stuck on threads. Pin needs to go down. Watch Bonnie, okay now, you
Shut up, watch
swig.
fucking Bonnie.
Knock it down.
Right, we're not going to make that mistake again. The threads have got caught on that, look. Yeah. We're not going to make that mistake again. Let me fucking make that a lot bigger.
Yeah, you can tell where it's painted on, isn't it?
Hang on. It's that what we're catching. Here's me going, oh, too easy.
It's not.
Hey, that problem will not happen again.
Right now. Got it.
Yeah, there we go, look. Perfect that now, innit, with that bottom bit. So that just wants adjusting and we're golden, right? Exactly the same on round 2. Didn't bully bonnet now, look. Look at dint in that. We have to put that plate on now, so I didn't.
Right, let's get back to this list. What else have we just done now? I've just done a few bits off camera what I haven't showed you. Engine oil and filter, done. That's checked off my list. That is in. Gearbox oil, also done. That is sorted. Brake bleed. Now we've just bled all the brakes up. We did the entire brake lines on this car, front to back, all of them. We only had one leak, and that was because of our own issue. Forgot to tighten the union. Sorted. Brakes are bled. Absolutely no leaks on them now. Perfect. Clutch is bled. That's working perfect. So what's actually left on this list? Bonnet pins, also. Bonnet pins completely done. We did put the little silver trims on the bonnet as well. Figured it kind of probably looked better with them than it did without them. So now my job's for today. I need to finish my earth points, I need to do my earth straps, and just tidy a little bit of wiring up what's not needed. Like I need to repair there's a wire on the headlight what's not great. I need to repair that, and I'm going to put the headlights back in. And to be fair, I wasn't going to put all the front back together because I didn't want it to be an hindrance for Andy who's going to wire it. But looking at it, there's not really going to be anything across the front end what he's going to need access to. A lot of this wiring here is for the old headlights and stuff, so not much of it is he going to need to mess with. So in all honesty, I think I'm just going to just leave that. I'm going to put it all back together. I'm going to put all the front back together for him, put headlights in, bumper and all that sort of stuff, because the only thing he's really going to need access to is the parts down this bit here, like the wiring plugs for throttle body and all that type of stuff, because obviously that goes to throttle pedal inside. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be much of an hindrance for him.
Right, so a little bit of Escort development. This is, by the way, just going to be chopped into Escort video. I'm not even working on Escort today. I'm actually doing a Toyota Glanzer exhaust, which may or may not make it to YouTube video. If it does, well, check my other videos, you'll see it there. But while Connor's just, where is he? Connor's just welding it up there in the background, look. I thought I'd just have a little bit more of a play on my Escort. And I've actually got the thing to crank. Let me show you what I've done. So on the Volkswagens, you usually have a big fuse panel here. It's called a buzzboard, where you get power from battery to buzzboard, and then the buzzboard directly feeds whatever you're feeding. So it'll feed your alternator, it feeds your starter motor, it feeds all sorts of other little bits and bobs. Obviously, I ain't got a buzzboard on this, so I've sort of made one. So battery, we've now got a 200 amp fuse for a starter motor. We've got an 80 amp fuse for his alternator, and it's all plumbed up. So at the moment, no other electrics are on the car whatsoever, but I've got the alternator wired in, I've got the starter wired in, and obviously this wire down here, I need to wire this to the original Escort starter wire, which is this one. I say starter wire, it's an exciter wire. So when you flick your key, it'll send 12 volt down this wire, which excites that solenoid, which then kicks out, makes your starter work, essentially. That's a simple term of it. So what I've done is I've got the plug on, and all I need to do is touch that wire onto that live there, and this engine should crank. You ready? Yep. Are we ready? In 3, 2, 1. And then we have a TFSI engine cranking in a Mark IV Escort. Buzzing. So there's a bit more wire I need to do. I need to double check that that is the exciter wire from the ignition. I think it is. If so, it is really simple. All I need to do now is wire that exciter wire to that red wire, and then as I crank it on the key, it'll crank the engine. Buzzing. Also, this is the original Escort coolant temp sensor. Coolant temp sensor is not screwed in at the moment. It's in the car in a tray. But when it is screwed in, I'm going to take it out to start with. I'm going to plug it in there, and I'm going to put it in some boiling water and make sure that the temp gauge goes up. If the temp gauge goes up, perfect. I then know that that is the Escort coolant temp gauge wire. All of this then will all be junk. All the rest of it will be scrap. I'll peel all this loom apart. I'll take all the stuff out what I don't need, because I'm pretty sure I'm only going to need 2 wires out of this entire loom. It's going to be that one and that one. Starter exciter, coolant temp sensor. All the others, I genuinely can't even remember what they're for, but they're probably going to be absolutely useless to us. Also, battery is connected at the moment, but none of the car electrics are on there, if that makes sense. At the moment, the only thing that's live is the engine. So the alternator's got power, the starter motor's got power. But if we connect this wire to the battery, the whole car will then get power again. So the lights will work, the ignition will work, all that sort of stuff. So I do know that I've already got a problem with the wiring on this side. I've repaired the wiring for this headlight. I do know I've already got a problem with this one. But I have got this little Amazon care package, which is a H4. You can only get them as a pair. I only need one. Well, to be fair, if I'd have known I could have only gotten a pair, I would have put one on either side. Because this one had already had one, but somebody had done a bad job of it. So I need to put that on there, because the connector's all melted. I think it's just got to a point where it's been so dirty, then resistance gets so high, and then it just melts the plug. So I'm going to wire a new plug on there, solder it on nicely, and then basically once I've made sure all the lights work, it's just a case of let's get this damn engine wired up. Yeah, let's just get the fuel pump wired and all the rest of ECU pins wired and all that sort of stuff, and then the thing should run, hopefully. But getting it cranking, it's a start, innit, boys? It's a start. Anyway, I thought I'd just let you into that little insight. Like I say, I'm not even working on Escort today. I am doing the Glanzer, so I guess I'll probably just chop this back to whatever day I am working on Escort, and we'll carry on what we're doing. Catch you in that bit.
So as I said, everything was going well at this point. Here's where it starts to go a little bit downhill.
Hey folks, so welcome back to a little bit more of an Escort update. Fast forward a few months, so it's actually been a few months since the last time that I worked on the Escort. And there's been some development, not so much in the good news way. So, you remember earlier on in the video, I said that Andy was going to be doing me the wiring for this Escort. Now, Andy Bloxham at Overboost is the man for wiring. I'm not taking that away from him. And I haven't fell out with Andy either, but I get the feeling Andy's not that bothered about doing this job. I've asked him a couple of times now for a date, and I just kind of getting the feeling that I'm getting a little bit ghosted. So I'm feeling like he's doing a lot of TFSI conversions on caddies and he's earning a lot of money from that. This is obviously more a headache job. And like I say, I've messaged him a couple of times for a date and I just keep getting ghosted. So unfortunately, I have had to ask somebody else. Now, which is a shame because I wanted Andy to do this, but I'm not going to wait around forever. I don't want to knock it. I know he's a busy guy. It is what it is. So if you're watching this, Andy, I'm not slandering you at all. I know you are the man for it, but unfortunately, I don't want to keep pestering you for a date. I've actually asked somebody else now. So now, there's been a development in the Escort. The issue what I've been stalled on is the wiring loom. Everything else is done. Everything. And I mean, it is turnkey ready, but the wiring loom for the engine is what I've been stalled on. So, here's what I've done. I've contacted somebody else. We've had a little chat. They're based down in Portsmouth. I'm not going to say the company name. Maybe later on in the video, when I get the loom back and if the car starts and we're happy with it, then I'll give them some praise or whatever. But at the minute, the wiring loom is proving the most difficult part to get somebody to actually do. You're going to laugh in a minute what I've done. But we've actually had to make a mock-up of the wiring loom, what we want, because the guy who's doing it is based in Portsmouth. So you're probably thinking, how on earth are you going to make a mock-up of the wiring loom? Quite simply, with this rope. Now you're probably laughing, thinking, how on earth are you going to make a mock-up of wiring loom with rope? Well, I already have done, and I'm going to show you what I've done. So essentially what I'm going to do now is I've laid the loom out in rope, marked every little takeoff to every sensor, labelled them all, and he wants me to send both parts of the engine loom to him. So the main engine loom and the body side loom. So the body side loom is obviously what I'm struggling with because the engine side loom is almost basically standalone on its own. But the body loom, throttle pedal, fuel pump and clutch pedal switch, brake pedal switch, yada 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 yada, that's the bit we're struggling with. Now it is a fairly simple loom. We're not running instrument cluster. So that's one thing out of the way. We're not running ABS, that's another thing out of the way. I just need the bare bones. I need a fuel pump, I need ignition lives, I need earths, clutch switch, brake pedal switch, and an OBD port. That's essentially all I need. This is a very bare bones. Let me show you what I've done. Let me run through it. So this started as a length of rope. That's the excess. So at the moment, don't judge, it's going to look a mess. Obviously, it's not going to look like this when it comes back as a proper loom, when it's all loom taped and blah, 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 and it will be run nice and neatly. But essentially, what we've got here is everything is labelled. So that one, the main ECU plug, the ECU's down here on the back. This one, battery plus is here. So if we need a permanent live, that's where that'll go. This one, 2-pin clutch switch, which will go to my clutch switch. Like I said, all this will all be properly, nicely, and neatly run. Down here, pin plug 2. Excuse me, I've got cold. Plug 2, another one down here, which is, actually I haven't even put that one on. It's a good start, isn't it? I've missed that one. Have I missed that one? That's map sensor, look. Map sensor's there. Yeah, what's that for then? Yeah, I'm going to have to look what that's for in a second. I've missed that one. Plug 1 to, where's plug 1? Plug 1's up here, look. Hiding away, plug 1. This one, I'm not too sure if we're going to be able to control the ECU fan via the ECU, but if we can, that's where I want it. If not, we'll do a manual switch or something along them lines. What's that for now? I've just got me thinking what that's for. Well, it's on, it goes into the alternate, oh, it was alternator load signal. Yeah, so we are going to need to put that in there. That's alternator load signal, and what's the other one? Because you've got two that go to alternator load signal, so what do the other two go to? Other two go to that, there. Coolant temperature, so it looks like they go to there. No, they don't. They go to there, I think. Let's have a proper better look. Oops, put coolant hose off. You think they go to that, to aircon, which we're not using. Yeah, they do. Look, the same colour wires, aren't they? Look, so two of them are useless. They go to aircon, we don't need that, but the other two are alternator load signal, which we probably do need. Not too sure, I'm not an expert on wiring. But yep, sound, so that's everything in that bit. There we've got map sensor, lander sensor plug. Here we've got a fuse box. I've just let him know where the fuse box location is. Grounds can go there as well. See, the problem is they don't know where everything is on my engine build, do they? So I've had to do this entire rope template so they know where to put all the takeoffs and how long everything needs to be. So if we go around onto inside, and these are not all tucked up at minute, but we've got brake pedal, switch, we've got OBD port, and we've got throttle pedal. Then the loom's going to run down the carpet all the way into the back of the car. And then I've got a spot here good for grounds where I want fuel pump electronics, so relays and lives and stuff. I'll put them all in the boot here with everything else. And that's going to be to the fuel pump itself. Here's a lot of stuff what I'm going to send him. That's everything off of the engine side, body side ECU plug. We've kind of like dissected everything out the main loom and labelled it best I can. There's going to be the fan that I'm going to be running. Here in this big box is just all the scrap off the loom. Now I don't know if he's going to need any of it, I'm just going to send it him anyway just in case. That's the instrument cluster, obviously. I'm not going to send him that because we're not even running it. Useless. This is some other stuff, window regulators, what I need to do. This is just a box of junk for stuff that I'm not even using anymore, so I don't even know why I've still got it. But essentially I'm going to grab all that, put it in that box there, and I'm going to send him everything in that box. So as you can see, I know a lot of you have been asking me on the comments, Escort, where's the Escort? What was happening with the Escort? I'm just dead in the water, guys, that's all it is. I've done everything I can physically do. I've waited for a month for Andy for this. Literally just sat waiting for a month, and like I say, I'm not going to beg him anymore. I'm not going to pester him anymore. Got in touch with this other guy. He just basically said, yep, sound, send it me, I'll sort it you. Hell of a lot cheaper. Andy was quite expensive, to be fair, or very expensive actually. I mean, but I know he's good, so I'm willing to pay the price, the money whenever the issue. The other guy's obviously, he's essentially just sending me the loom. He's going to build the loom and send it me. Then I've got to do a bit of wiring, obviously put the grounds to it, put the lives to it, and route it in the car, which I don't mind. That's easy enough. I'm capable of doing that. I suppose it's better for the build, really, isn't it? Better, rather than me just paying someone else, there'll be a bit more content for you guys, me fitting the loom, and then hopefully now, what I'm trying to say is, hopefully, in the next slide of this video, I'll be unboxing the new loom, and then we can get it fitted on the car. See if the bloody thing starts.
And if it had panned out that way, I'd have been a very, very happy man. Sadly though, it went quite the opposite way.
So I guess this is the part of the video where I explain where it all starts to go pear-shaped. Essentially, obviously as we know, Andy at Overboost was originally going to do me the loom. Now Andy never really messed me around. Did kind of let me down a little bit. But I know Andy's more than capable of doing the wiring job what I needed doing, no doubt about that. I know Andy is an absolute wizard, but essentially he's earning too good money doing TFSI conversions on caddies, which is obviously a much easier job than the job that I need doing. So I can see why he never really got back to me. It was just becoming a pit where I were obviously asking him constantly for a date, and I was never getting that date, which is half the reason why I went elsewhere in the first place. So I went to this other company off the back of a recommendation, and this is where everything just went. Initially, things seemed well. I had a chat with the guy on the phone. He seemed to know what he was talking around. He told me he could build me a standalone wiring loom for my car, what I could add ignition, live and earth to, essentially. Perfect. That's exactly what I needed. I'm more than capable of doing that. Everything seemed good to start with. He told me it would take 2 to 3 weeks. This is 3 months later, and I've not really pestered him. I've left him to his own devices type thing. I've sent the odd email just to say, you know, how are we getting on with the loom? Is everything all right? And I'd get back some bullshit response. Yeah. I'm just still going through it. It'll be done in a week or 2. That's what he told me in November. We're now on New Year's Eve.
So yesterday, or a couple of days before that, I was getting restless. I was thinking, this guy's messing me around. This guy's absolutely messing me around. Anyway, sends him an email a week ago, no response. Send him another email, no response. Tried ringing him, no answer. Thought, you know what, fair enough, maybe the guy's busy. It happens, I'm a busy man. I can't always get back to everyone as soon as I'd like. So anyway, we've got a little members chat for the YouTube, so a little NoFabs gang WhatsApp group. We're just talking about it in there casually. One of the lads in there goes all CID, FBI. We start doing a little bit of investigating. We find out that this kid's probably going to be a messer. Anyway, one of the lads messages him saying, can I book my car in for a remap? Bam, replies like that, straight away. Text him back within 30 seconds on a Saturday night. At that point, red flags for me, alarm bells are ringing, I'm thinking this guy's messing me around. Because bearing in mind, I've tried calling him, no answer. So anyway, I text him. On iMessage and Android, you get a notification when they've read it. Guy reads it, never responds. At this point, my alarm bells are ringing, I'm thinking this kid's messing me around. So I rings him again the day after. To my surprise, he answers it. So I'm like, hi James, can I have a bit of an update on my wiring loom? Any particular reason why you're avoiding me? He says, oh no, I'm not avoiding you. I've just closed for Christmas. Bearing in mind, he told me you're going to have it done in a week or two at the start of November. This is now late December. This was yesterday, so the day before New Year's Eve. Today's New Year's Eve. I get on the phone with him, I have a chat with him, and straight away, my bullshit meter's going off in my head. He's talking to me like he's not even seen the loom. So what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, he's talking to me like he's not actually been in the box. So he asked me, can you give me some measurements of where you'd like stuff on the loom? I said to him, I'll do one better than that. I'll get a length of rope, as you've seen, and I'll template the whole thing out for you, so you've essentially got to copy it. So I've seen people build wiring looms before, I know how they do it. They'll get a big whiteboard, they'll stick a template on there, and then they'll trace the wiring to it. So your throttle pedal wants to be this length, your clutch switch needs to go there, your fuel pump relay needs to go there, your ignition live's here, the battery's there, that sort of thing. So that's why I sent him the rope template. Anyway, I'm on the phone to him, and I said, so how are we getting on, James? How's my loom going? Yeah, it's all stripped back now. It's ready to start constructing. Bearing in mind, he's had it months at this point. Now, you've seen how I sent the loom to him. It's not like he's had to strip all the loom back. I'd already stripped all like the unnecessary stuff out. So when you get a complete wiring loom, you've got stuff for airbags, you've got stuff for door looms, you've got all that type of stuff. I'd already stripped all that out of there. So he didn't need to do any of that. All he needs to do is remove the unnecessary things, like we don't need the instrument cluster anymore. We don't need the car, we don't need the ECU to talk to the airbag control module. We don't need it to talk to the ABS control module. So that's the type of stuff he should be removing. Anyway, he gets on the phone and he starts talking to me about things that are making my alarm bells.
In a quarter of a mile
Just one
at
second.
the roundabout, take the third exit onto the M3 slip road to Southampton, Bournemouth.
Let me get through this thing. Anyway, we start having a conversation and he starts saying, how do you want it terminated? So I say, what do you mean, how do I want it terminated? He's like, how do you want it finished? Do you want it in braiding? Do you want it in tape wrap? Blah, blah, blah. I already told him all this on the letter, what was in the top of the box. I told him exactly what I wanted. I told him I wanted it labelled. I told him I wanted it braided. So again, I'm thinking, has he even been in the box? Then he starts going off about, what instrument cluster are you using? It was already on my instructions, I wasn't using an instrument cluster. Now I'm really thinking he hasn't looked in this box. So then we start waffling on about other things, and he starts mentioning throttle pedal. He goes, well, you could use a Mark IV pedal, you could use a TT pedal. The pedal was in the box. Literally every component what I was using was in the box. So when I did my rope template, I obviously did a takeoff for where the throttle pedal needs to go. I tie wrapped the throttle pedal to that position, so we knew what throttle pedal I'd be using, so we knew exactly what connector it would need on it. Same with the clutch switch, same with the brake switch. And he's asking me these questions. What brake switch are you using? What throttle pedal are you using? I said to him, I wish I'd recorded the phone call, I really do. Bugger, I'm in wrong lane.
Exit the roundabout onto the slip road.
It's alright.
So I said to him, I went, James, have you even looked in the box of stuff? Yeah, I've had it all laid out. I'm thinking, you bullshit me, mate. You have not had it all laid out. Because if you'd had it all laid out, you would see the template. The ECU was taped, tie wrapped to the rope loom. The fuel pump I'm using. Oh, he was asking me what fuel pump I'm using. Mate, it's in the box. It's tie wrapped to the loom. I'm thinking, you haven't had this out. I'm thinking, my bullshit meter's going 10 to a dozen.
In a quarter of a mile, at Spitfire roundabout, take the second exit onto St. Catherine's Way, A31.
You know when you just get the vibe somebody's bullshitting you? Well, that's what I was getting. My bullshit meter were going off 10 to a dozen. I'm thinking, don't insult my intelligence. If you haven't done it, just tell me, don't lie to me. So I said, tell you what, James, can you send me a couple of pictures of my loom where it's at minute? Yeah, it's just a bare loom at minute, so it's about ready to construct. You've had it months, mate. So why is it still a bare loom? Why have you not even started constructing it when you told me it would take 2 to 3 weeks start to finish? Anyway, he says, yeah, I'll send you some pictures next time I'm in garage. Well, bearing in mind his garage is at his house. It's on the back of his house. He told me he's closed for Christmas. I said, James, that's a lie. You haven't closed for Christmas because you booked a remap in yesterday. Which, obviously, the remap what he's booked in was one of my followers. So I know he's working. I know he's lying to me. I confronted him on it. He says, oh yeah, well, problem is that's going to take me 45 minutes. I can do that easily. I'm not something that's going to take me hours working in garage.
Exit
James,
roundabout onto the slip road.
James, don't bullshit me, mate. Don't bullshit me. Anyway, I says, can you send me some pictures of it over? Yeah, I'll send you some next time I'm in garage. So once we put phone down, we terminated it. I was being a bit of a prick on the phone, I won't lie to you, because I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed. Somebody promises me a service, I expect the service to be delivered. You guys bring me an exhaust in with an engine conversion. I know everything about that car before it even gets to me. I wouldn't leave it till the last second. I'd want to know what engine you've got in there. I'd want to know everything that you're using so I can deliver you a good service. This guy was shafting me, I knew it. I knew it from the get-go. Anyway, 6 hours later, he sends me some pictures of my loom. And my head just goes, the loom looks like it's had an hour's work since I sent it. Barely anything done on it. You know what? I text him back in a rage. I says, box it up. I'm coming to collect it tomorrow. He's like, yeah, that's fine, blah, blah, blah. This might be starting to make a little bit of sense now why I'm videoing myself in the car. It's now 3 minutes past 8 in the morning. And I've been on the road since 5 a.m. Left my house at 5 a.m. this morning. And I'm on my way to Portsmouth from Chesterfield. It's a 4-hour drive there, probably going to be a 5-hour drive back with traffic. The traffic's been lovely to me so far. The sun's only just really come up. I'm going to be at this chap's house in 35 minutes and I'm getting my stuff back. Because I know this guy, he said he's worked 6 hours on it. He said he wants paying for 6 hours work, which fair enough, if he's worked 6 hours on it, I'll pay him his 6-hour labour charge, which is about 150 quid, he says. Even still, if he has worked 6 hours on it, do you guys feel like 6 hours work on a project is acceptable for when you've had it there for months? Nah, it's not, is it? Let's be honest, no, it's not. Know what I think? I think he'd never even opened that box. He didn't know what throttle pedal I was using, he didn't know what brake switch I was using, didn't know what clutch switch I was using, didn't know what fuel pump I was using. If he'd been in that box, the whole lot was right there for him. I think he's opened that box yesterday and thought, shit, I better get a little bit of something done on this so it doesn't look exactly the same. That's what's happened. So, there we go. I'm on my way to rescue it. It is what it is. We'll see what happens in 35 minutes, shall we, when I get there.
So I have blurred his house. I'm not a scrote, I'm not here to ruin his life. I'm simply here for a drama-free collection of my stuff. Make sure it's all there. That's all I want, the safe return of my stuff.
Of course he doesn't answer the door.
Hello?
Morning, James. It's Nathan. I'm here to collect my stuff, pal.
Oh, bloody hell, you're here early.
Yeah, traffic were kind to me.
Alright, fair enough. Give us a minute, I'll be down with you.
Alright, bye.
Now, yet again, I'm not going to publish the full conversation here. I am also going to blur his face. Just because I don't want to ruin the kid's life. He has wronged me, but I don't want to ruin his life. But there is one part of the conversation that I do want you to hear. So just hear this.
So, realistically, all this now needs is power, ground, and ignition live. So, it's kind of a case of ECU relay, which is triggered by your ignition switch, power ground and it should run.
No worries, I'm going to take this to somewhere else. Obviously, I'm going to let them finish it, look over it, whatever.
Yeah, no worries.
And that's that.
Yeah, cool. Right, stick it in.
So there we go, boys. Kept it civil. I didn't come for dramas. As much as I'd like to slap him right head for messing me around for all these months, I'm already on a suspended sentence for another issue, so I could do without getting in any bother. I didn't come here for violence or for dramas. I came here to get my stuff back, and that's what I've done. He seemed nice enough on the day, but he's always going to in here. I've just come here to get all my stuff back, and he knows he's messed me around. He knows he's fucked me around. He was telling me this is that, it's ready for that. It's a country mile away. It's far from a finished wiring loom. In fact, should we have a look? Should we get it out and I'll show you? It's far from a finished wiring loom. I'm actually distraught. It's barely any different from when I left it. It is what it is. Let's have a look before I set off back home. Oh shit. So obviously I weren't going to take you guys in his house. I weren't going to go and bash a camera in his face. I'm not about that. But here's all the irrelevant stuff really that we don't need. So I'll just chuck that ink car for now. Here's my loom. Here's what I'm left with after months of waiting. So the engine loom, it was supposed to be repairing me some plugs on that. He hadn't even touched that, not even done a thing on it. Thank God he hadn't, to be honest with you. Thank God he hasn't touched it. I think it would have caused me more dramas than out. He has done something to it, but do you think this is acceptable for having it for months? This is what I'm left with. And absolutely, I mean, it left like this. If you looked at it, it left like this. He's been cutting some stuff out at plug and that, so yeah, he has removed some stuff. Does it look like 3 months worth of work to you? Does it look like it were almost ready to be built? Nah, not in my opinion, it doesn't. I'm no loom builder, but not in my opinion. What an absolute sack of shit. Fuming ain't the word. And there we have it, boys. As I said, I didn't go for dramas. I just went to get my stuff back, and that's that really. I've done that, I've got my stuff back. All my components look like they're in there, throttle pedal and fuel pump, the stuff what's obviously essential to the build, that's all in there, which is good news. He never looked in that box until yesterday. I'm telling you, he never looked in that box. If he did, he would have known what components I had. You've seen them yourself, they're all right there in the box. I mean, the throttle pedal on a Mark 5 Golf, it's ginormous. You can't mistake it for anything else. So if he had looked in the box, it were months ago, and he's not looked at it since, and he's forgot. It is what it is. I've got it back, and that's that. But what I will say is, if any of you are thinking of using James Littler at Dub Force Tuning, who is based down south at Portsmouth, do yourselves a favour, don't bother. I'm not going to slate him any further than that. I've no need to. It is what it is. What's next for the Escort now is the question. I don't know, guys. I'm feeling a little defeated with the situation. The way I see it is I've got like 3 options. Option 1 is I try and get Andy at Overboost to do it. I know Andy can do it. I know he's more than capable of doing it. His price wasn't cheap. The money were never the issue. He originally quoted me 2 to 3 grand essentially to wire it. That were on the basis of me dropping the car off and it coming back done, which is a lot of money. But the money were never the issue. I understand there's a lot of work and I'm willing to pay for a good work. So I said yes to Andy to do that. I said, yeah, fine. I said, it's more than I wanted. He says, but book it in. The issue was Andy would essentially never give me a date to get it booked in. So that's option 1, is I try and see if Andy's still interested in doing it. But then I run the risk of, he's going to have a wait list. Do I wait more months? for a potential letdown. Or option 2 is I get myself some wiring diagrams and I do it myself. Can I do it? Probably. Probably can do it. Electrics are not my strong point, but with the relevant wiring diagrams and some homework, I have faith in myself that I can do it. It's just having the time to spend days and days on end doing it, when it's almost like you guys building an exhaust system. Could you guys build yourself an exhaust system? If I told you to come down to the garage, here's all the tools, could you do it? Probably. Would it be as nice as mine? Probably not. Same thing wiring. Can I do it? Probably. Will it be as nice as a professional's job? Probably not. And I wanted it right, which is the issue here. So that's option 2. Option 2 is I try and do it myself, which if I'm honest, that's the option that I'm aiming for, or that's the option I'm feeling like doing, because I'm tired of waiting, folks. I'm tired of waiting. You know, I've put so much work into that Escort, hours and hours and hours of man hours into it, all the fabrication. The car's done. The car is ready to go. Everything on that car is done, minus the wiring. Once that wiring's done, flick that key, that car is done. Obviously the drive shafts are welded, but I could get some of them custom made. I think them shafts would be absolutely perfect. You've seen them on, if you didn't watch me making them, I made them, span them on the lathe. Them shafts were very tight tolerance. They were almost dead straight. I don't think they'd cause any issue. I highly doubt they'd ever break, but again, the car is done. It's turnkey ready once the loom's done. So that's option 2. I mean, option 3 is, do I try and find somebody else to do it? A reputable company this time. I went with that guy off back of a recommendation, looked at his platforms, you know, all his socials, and looked at his website. His website looked legit. Showed you pictures of wiring looms, gave you different options. You could have it heat shrunk, braided, labelled, not labelled. It looked legit. Lesson learned. Because when I originally sent it, he said send it to my home address. So I just thought, maybe he's closing for Christmas or something. He wants me to send it to his house. I don't know. God knows. This, obviously, I sent it months ago. I have no idea what I thought, actually. He said send it to my home address. So I didn't think I want it. Sent it to his home address. Little do I now know that his workshop's at home. I thought he's going to have a nice workshop, a legit business. Not the case. Works from his garage at home, bet look at it. Terrible mistake on my part. Half my own fault. Should have never gone there in first place. But you live and learn, don't you? They say you make mistakes and you learn from them. Well, that's a lesson learned. If I do send this loom anywhere else, I'll be making sure I do my own work on them. In fact, I probably, no matter where it is in country, I'll probably deliver it myself, so I can see what I'm dealing with. I can talk to people and I can make sure they're not going to mess me around. But at the moment, I'm not really liking that option. Unless any of you guys have got a recommendation for someone who can do this without messing me around and do it quick. I don't want to wait months if I can help it. So yeah, I mean, unless any of you have got any recommendations for anyone else who can do me a 2-litre TFSI wiring loom, then drop it in the comments below. Because I know you're all dying for Escort content, but at the moment you can see that I'm not lagging on it. I'm trying my best. I've just done an 8-hour drive in the interest of getting some work done on this Escort, getting some progress on it, because that guy were never going to do it. When I were on phone to him yesterday, he was like, yeah, first week of January. Does that look like that loom we're going to be ready to use first week of January? Absolute nonsense. That would have never been done by me. And even if it were done, would it have worked? I have no idea. Absolutely no idea. I mean, I'll have a look over what he's done closely when I'm back at work. I mean, it might be legit. I don't know. To me, it looks a mess. It is what it is. And that's that. Done and dusted. That's that chapter over with, just because what a mess. What a mess. There's not really much else to say, folks. I am now on my way home. 3 hours 28 minutes back to Chesterfield. I'm sorry, it's not the ending that we're all looking forward to, essentially.